Have you ever just stopped and wondered, how did I become, well, me? What exactly are the forces that shaped you into the person you are right at this very moment? Is it your DNA? Your childhood? Something else entirely? It's a huge question, maybe one of the biggest we can ask. So let's dive in and really unpack what makes us, us. Here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with that big core question. Then we'll get clear on the difference between growth and development. They're not the same thing. We'll look at our development as a lifelong journey, tackle that classic nature versus nurture debate, and then bring it all home to see what it all means for you. All right, let's get right to it. We're starting with the big one, a question that sits right at the heart of psychology and, at the very core of your own life story. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What unique mix of biology, of events, of relationships all came together to create you? It's an incredibly complex puzzle, right? And to even start putting the pieces together, we have to get a handle on the basic building blocks. So to build that solid foundation, we've got to define our terms. See, in just everyday chat, we tend to use the words growth and development almost interchangeably. But for psychologists, they mean two very, very different things. So growth is pretty straightforward. It's all about the physical stuff, the things you can measure, the quantitative changes. Think of it like building a house just by adding more bricks. The structure gets bigger, taller, heavier. That's growth. And, just like building a house, eventually it stops. Now, development, that's the whole shebang. It's not just about the house getting bigger. It's about installing the plumbing, wiring the electricity, furnishing the rooms, and a family actually moving in and living life. It's about the increase in function, in complexity, how we think, feel, and connect with other people. And this process, it never really stops. Okay, let's just put them side by side to make it crystal clear. On one side, you've got growth. It's purely about numbers, it's structural, and it's finite. It ends. On the other side, development. It's qualitative and quantitative. It's integrated across every part of who we are, and it's a process that keeps going our entire lives. That whole idea of a lifelong process leads us straight into one of the first big debates in this field. So, is our journey through life this smooth, continuous ramp upwards? Or is it more like climbing a set of stairs with really distinct, separate steps along the way? Some of the classic old theories suggested that we all march through these rigid, predictable stages of development. But does that really feel right? Does that capture how fluid and messy and unique human experience actually is? What does modern psychology think? Well, the current thinking is pretty clear. While, we hit certain milestones, our development is really best seen as this continuous unfolding process. Every new skill, every new experience, every bit of understanding, it all just builds on what came before. It's cumulative. What happened to you yesterday is shaping who you are today, and who you are today is setting the stage for who you'll become tomorrow. And that brings us to maybe the most famous showdown in all of psychology, the epic question of nature versus nurture. What's the more powerful force in making us who we are, our biology or our environment? Let's break down the two sides. Nature is all about our genetic inheritance. It's the biological blueprint we get from our parents that influences everything from our eye color to parts of our personality. Nurture is, pretty much everything else. Our family, our friends, our culture, our education, every single experience we have. For literally centuries, people argued fiercely for one side over the other. But today, that debate is basically over. We now understand it was never an either-or question. It has always, always been both and. And here's where it gets really interesting. Nurture can actually change how nature works. Our experiences can leave chemical tags on our DNA that literally flip genes on or off. So our DNA isn't some fixed blueprint. It's more like a dynamic script that our environment is constantly helping to write. Okay, so that's all pretty cool stuff, but why does any of this actually matter in the real world? Let's take these big ideas and connect them directly to our actual lives. Look, understanding these principles isn't just for textbooks. It changes everything. It changes how we teach our kids and how we parent them. It shapes how we see ourselves, not as these fixed, finished products, but as works in progress. And maybe most powerfully, it's a huge reminder that our ability to change, to learn, to develop, that doesn't just stop when we're done growing physically. It is lifelong. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Knowing it's a constant dance between nature and nurture, Take a look at your own story. Which force do you think has been the more powerful sculptor in making you who you are today? There's no right or wrong answer, of course, but it's a fascinating question to really sit